He's one of the dopest engineers in the game. The head engineer exclusively for Prodigy of Mobb Deep. 10 Prodigy of Mobb Deep albums. The Hegelian Dialectic. The Book of Revelation.
It's a pleasure, man. That body of work is crazy. I mean,
Joe the engineer. Now we do this shit, nigga.
333. That's a sign from the heavens. Just look up in the heavens.
What the fuck is up, everybody? Yo, what up? H2O, what up? Christopher, what up, homie? Yeah, it's Beat Boutique time. Thursday, 9 o'clock. You know what that means. It's time to make people's music better. So, got a lot of things going on right now. As always, I'm up to something. I'm always up to something. I'm really up to like 5 different things right now. But what I'm up to definitely involves Beat Boutique. So, if you guys missed the Big Twin episode of Mobb Deep Monday this Monday, you missed some news. I will be recapping, that's for sure. But it's only 9 o'clock. We usually don't even kick this off till 9:33. Ow. Oh, that kind of hurt. So, yeah, usually what I do right now is just play beats I've been working on. But it's early, and I've only been working on 2 new ones. So, that's only going to take like 10 minutes. So, while I roll the fuck up, I am going to play some of the beats me and Billy Lyon's been up to lately.
I studied and learned for a purpose, my dear.
All right, Lamont, I realize all that. But now the entire underworld has but one objective: to erase the shadow.
Word, Billy Lines, what up, homie? Yeah, let me play another one. Just because, why the fuck not? What do I want to hear right now? Oh, yo, for some reason, every time I put this beat into iTunes, it's blank. I don't fucking understand it. But when I play it from the preview menu, it works. Therefore, I keep forgetting that it's even in here. But Chronic, what up, homie? Yeah, Billy Lines, this one. Woo! Billy Lies, that shit is fucking fire, homie. We nailed that one. That one's perfect on both ends. Nailed it. All right, let me play one more, and I gotta go. I'm actually in the middle of cooking dinner right now, so I gotta go check the oven. Let me play. I don't know, Billy Lines, you like that one more or this one? Yeah, that's. I think we nailed both of those ones, homie. Shit. Alright, so, what have I been working on this week? I've been up to a lot of shit. I've even tried swapping out captain's chairs. I've been sitting in this one so long, it's become uncomfortable. So, let me play this other one first. Why would you do that? So, we're working on this one for a minute, but I kind of went public with it this past week because I like to work on things live, get some instant feedback from you guys. So I know if there's positive feedback, it's dope. I know if there's no feedback, that it's whack. And if it's negative feedback, that's actually dope. But if nobody says nothing, then it ain't worth anything. But I've been working on this one for a long time. Still a lot of work to go, but oh my god, there's so many tracks. Look at this. So many. So much going on. But anyway, yeah, this is what I've been working on this week. But yeah, a lot of work left on that one, homie. A lot of fucking work left on that one. But I am making progress, and that's all that matters. The other thing I have been working on, because me and Billy Lons are always up to something. If you can. Yeah, a lot of work left on that one, sonically. Yeah, Billy Lines, it's not banging enough yet. I can make it knock harder. I'm listening to it after not hearing it for the last couple of days, and there's some thump that could still be in there. But we're getting there, homie. So, yeah, that's all I've been working on. I tried to make it last until 9:33. So, yeah, send me whatever you guys are working on to 333beatboutique@gmail.com, and let's see if we can make your music better together, and hopefully I can make my own music better in some way, because that's the whole fucking point, right? That's the whole point of doing this. So, Chronic never fails to enter the Thunderdome. Yo, Chronic, let me ask you, homie. Well, I don't even have to ask you. So, if your distortion is intentional across all of the sounds on there, you still need to clean it up. If it is not an intentional thing, then clean that one up, homie, because that one's fucking dope, man. Like, really dope. It just needs... There's like a sharp edge on it that needs kind of like taken off. But if the distortion is intentional, just clean it up a little bit. It's a little bit too much. It's kind of like it's burying some of the things in the background that I know I can hear. And I have a problem when I make beats myself. As you can see from the last one I just played, there's like 40 fucking layers on there. I will do things and put them in places that I can barely hear them, and then I have to think to myself, if I can barely hear it, then the other people listening aren't going to hear that shit at all, because my hearing's been fine-tuned for the last 2 decades. So you have to think about the listener whenever you're having things that are so low in the mix. Now, the reason I'm saying all this is because the shit that is in the background of that one, super fire. That's why I like it. It needs to be brought up. I want to hear it. But you don't necessarily have to bring it up if you want it to have it sound like it's buried. You just need to clean up the distortion a little bit. So, oh fuck, I don't have the license for it anymore. It expired and I never renewed it. I forget which distortion plugin that I always used. It was really fucking good. But or if you don't have a distortion removal plugin, just filter it. Use a filter. But keep working on that one, dude. I'm liking Chronic's late summer vibes. Wow, dude. Very well done. Chronic, I had to go silent on that one, dude. That one's fucking amazing. That was incredible. That's the best. I don't care if you did it in 4 seconds or if you spent 4 weeks on that one. That is the best sound and drum balance. Now, it's not necessarily the best mix. I'm just saying the balance between the two is the best that I've heard from you. That was so smooth. That one's fucking awesome, dude. That doesn't even sound like you made it. That's how impressive that one is. And I mean that in a good way. Like, you went and took a left turn and it worked. Yeah, wherever them loops came from, dude, keep looking. That was impressive. It was like really impressive, dude. So, now let's see if we can make it better. So, on the second snare, there's the second one. So, on the 2, if you intended to have it a little like micro step behind that hi-hat, then you need to smoothen the transition between the two, because I can still feel the hesitancy. It doesn't feel like a groove. It feels like it's off. If you didn't mean for it to do that, then you need to go check that second snare and that hi-hat and move them a little bit closer together. That second snare is trailing. I know even if you meant to have it like trail just a little bit, it's a little bit too much. You need to move it just a little bit. Other than that, I got nothing for you, dude. That shit's fucking... Wow. I'm gonna have to roll up some wedding cake to that one, dude. Fuck. Very well done, homie. Freddie, what up, man? Yeah, man. What up? John Frank, what up, homie? So, Chronic, if nothing else comes from Beat Boutique, I don't know how to put this properly because I'm high. You have taken advantage of this forum to the fullest extent, homie, and it's fucking dope, man. It makes me happy that this shit is helping somebody out, because your shit just keeps getting better. That one right there was special, dude. That one was special. So let me play this third one. You found an ill batch of records this time, dude. nice. Yo, so yeah, dude, you're ready. If you keep making beats like that, you're ready to work with the artist. So in the beginning, the Boards of Canada style, where drum patterns and whatnot are a little bit off and switch and whatnot. Trust me, I knew instantly who you listen to because I listen to Boards of Canada. It's not like I don't like it, but if you want to work with artists, the drums have to be more like that because you have to understand the limitations of the people you're going to be working with. 99.99999% of rappers and singers, it's 4/4 timing. The drums are very simple and whatnot, but what you have reached now is you have figured out how to bridge the gap, and you're making the drum patterns and whatnot more, let's say, easier for artists to catch on to. Alright, so this happened with Devin the Dude. So I've told this story many times, but not in this context. So bucket list item to do a song with Devin the Dude. P makes it happen. Originally, we had intended to put him on Microcosm on Hegelian, and we sent it to him. And after a couple days, he actually hit P up and was just like, yo, man, you send me another record to try to get on? And P was just like, yo, what's up? He's like, no, I like this record. He's just like, I can't figure out how to catch it, like how to jump on it. So Chronic, think about it. Microcosm is produced by Mimosa. And Mimosa is a down-tempo producer. Now, he doesn't typically have people rapping on his projects, but P, being able to rap left-handed and rap on anything, had no problem finding the flow on that. But Devin, he literally said he just couldn't figure out how to catch it, like how to catch his flow and bounce on that beat. So we ended up doing another song with him. Hasn't been out yet. Trust me, I'm working to get that one out because I love the dude. So yeah, the rap Ginobili, homie, that left-handed flow. Trust me, it doesn't fit in everything, but P could make it fit in anything, if that makes sense. I know Billy Lyons knows what the fuck I'm talking about. So long story short, homie, you're ready. You're ready to start working with artists if you keep doing this. So this is dope because I know I can see people's improvement across this past, we're in 8 months now, in different areas. But you have improved across the board, homie, and that's what the fuck this is all about. Yeah, John Frank, it was literally a bucket list item to do, for me to have Devin the Dude on my resume. And P was just like, all right. And he just hit him on Instagram. That's literally how it happened. Like, literally, they had never worked together before. They knew about each other. They've met each other before. Of course they know about each other. P, it was funny because P usually didn't listen to a whole lot of artists. He's usually working so much, he kind of only listened to what he was working on. And he's where I got that from. I used to listen to everything. And now I only listen to what I'm working on. But, you know, after sessions, instead of to try to, like, cleanse the palate per se, I'd always play something different than what we just worked on. And I always played Devin the Dude. And P would sit there and laugh, like, because that's why I listen to it, because Devin cracks me the fuck up. Who in their right mind sings the lines that he sings? Hilarious. He got a whole song about being in the bathroom boo-booing. Are you fucking kidding me? And it's fire. Devin's that motherfucking dude. But yeah, P was always laughing like, yo, Devin is fucking hilarious, man. So, you know, ended up making it happen, and P and Devin did a song together. Bucket list item. Thanks, P. And then, of course, when Devin went on tour, me and P went and saw him at BB King's, and then we got to go meet him. Which, that's the only time I've ever been like, I wasn't starstruck, but I was like a kid. I was like giddy and shit. I couldn't stop smiling. I was so fucking happy to be smoking a blunt with Devin the Dude. So I told P, I know people who smoke a lot of weed, one of their bucket list items is to smoke a blunt with Snoop. Well, I know tons of people who know Snoop. Because that's not like something that would actually be that difficult to make happen in the course of a lifetime. But that was never my bucket list. Devin the Dude was. And then Pete made that happen because P's fucking was the illest of all time. 4-piece. Welcome to the Thunderdome, homie. We are on our smooth shit today. Yeah, 4-piece. Your chops are always so dope, man. Drums, impeccable. So, how can we make this one better? There are a couple that snare fill is too hot. It's too hot. All the drums are so smooth and clean that it's just a little bit too hot. So bring that one down. There are a couple crashes that are a bit too hot. I mean, it's probably an open hat, to be honest with you, and that tends to happen. I always battle with open hats, like the open part. It always comes through really hot versus the closed hit. So it's tough to have them on the same sound and then compress and EQ and process those two sounds together because they're so vastly different dynamically. So some of the open hats are a little bit hot, just a little bit. And since the drums are so nice and clean, I wouldn't bring them down. What I would do is just those chords, that sample, or if you played them, bring those up. And on the bass, bring the bass up, even if it's in the sample, go to 45 hertz and boost it. And if that doesn't make it like hit properly, go down to 39, but I'm guessing it's 45 because it is very jazzy. But fucking fire, homie. It's like we are definitely in the 333 lounge tonight. That's for sure.
Let me tell you something. Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like you if you're being yourself, fuck them.
G9 4 pieces is extremely polished. Extremely polished. He's everything that I ever wish I was on an MPC because I can't use an MPC or a drum machine. I can only play shit on the keyboard. So clean, so smooth. So it's funny. You know, it's a good beat 4-piece when everybody's saying different artists that would fit on there. Because I literally was thinking Ghostface. Somebody send this to Ghost. Jada might be a little bit difficult to get a hold of these days. His stock has gone through the roof. But yeah, everybody heard NH, what up? Everybody heard somebody different on that one, so that one just needs to be sent out, homie. Somebody's going to bite. Yeah, dude. So smooth all the time. Always so clean, dude. Christopher, you know I fucks with your music, homie. Glad to see you back. Alright, so I'm not saying change the kick pattern, but change that kick. Do something different with it. It's so buried that you can't hear it break through. It's not clean enough. Even if you want it to kind of be that like heartbeat thump, it's still not a clean enough thump. So but yeah, dude, your shit's always dope. And then the hi-hats or ride or whatever it is could definitely come up. But yeah, dude, your style is so it's like right up my alley. I'm such a fan of it. It's like all the shit that I listen to already. So back to the locks. It's funny, Nove, because any rap fan, especially a New Yorker, but any like rap fan up until 2010, Jada's top 5 dead or alive. Everybody knows it. Now you just have a whole bunch of younger fans who, because of this flood of music and entertainment, and they're more apt to listen to things that sound like their generation anyway. It's not like they won't listen to Jada, they just never have. Now they are. So now you have a whole new generation of people being like, hey, this guy is better than everybody else. Well, yeah, he always has been. It's Jada. He's top 5 dead or alive. Like, there's no questions about it. There never has been. If you're talking about just a rap, like a rapper, he is. Jada is like every rapper's favorite rapper, right? Everybody has their favorite and Jada. So like, P's favorite artist was Kanye. His favorite rapper was and Jada. Like, you see how that goes? So Jada's like he's reached that level. He's reached the and category to where there's like, I'm gonna be like, yo, who's the best rapper out? You're gonna say Jadakiss, and you know, it's like there's other people, but he's reached that level, man. It's incredible. I'm happy for him. I'm happy. I always tell everybody, and I said it on Mobb Deep Monday to Twin, that when Jada came to Peace funeral services, he waited in line like a fan with everyone else, even though he was given the opportunity to skip everyone and come do his own thing like everyone else had done who had a personal relationship with Pete or who was of some notoriety in the music industry. He said, nah, I'm good, and he walked slowly and took his time, paid his respects like a fan, and that's all I ever needed to see, because I was dressed in a black suit, so I looked like I worked there, so he definitely didn't know who I was. So I was able to just observe quietly and respectfully, and it was a dope-ass moment, and I'll never forget it, because in that moment, he was just a fan of P, and P was a fan of his. Zoltan, what up, homie? I was gonna say, it sounds like a dope interlude. Chronic, you're 100% right. Bring that sample up, homie, because those hats, those crashes or rides or whatever the fuck those China symbols are dominating the spectrum. But yeah, bring that sample up and you're right back in your groove, because you're fucking dope, homie. 7 Day, what up? Suspicious link. Better not be the Illuminati, homie. Welcome to the Thunderdome, 7 Day. If this thing plays.
crack like we invented it. Whip, boom, boom, boom. Hey yo. Hey yo. Hey yo.
Now you don't have to be an angel. Now you don't have to be an angel. Now you don't have to be an angel. Now you don't have to be an angel.
Kal-El, what up? So 7-Day, let me ask you something. Did you use a West Side acapella, or did you cut up like the intro and outro of one of their joints into a new joint? Let me know, because my advice could go either way. It depends on what you did and what your goal is with that. Sam Leb, what up, homie? Welcome to Beat Boutique. We have reached the second hour. So, that means it's time for me to roll the fuck up and make some announcements. Yeah, because I've been up to some things. So, well, I was saying, if you cut up an acapella, you should send that to West Side. Yeah, if you cut up the acapella, send it to him. They love to do things like that because they can't make hooks, so you kind of made one for them. So if you cut up an acapella and put on it, the transition point in between like the breakdowns and whatnot and what would be the body of the beat, there's a little hitch. It could be smoother because it's smoother in other points. So there's like maybe 3 of them where there's like a little hitch and it just needs to be tightened up. Sonically, it's nice and full, dude. Dope. So yeah, congratulations, you survived the Thunderdome. Yeah, man, they don't make hooks. You just made a hook for them. Easy. Joe Black, what up, homie? So, I mean, if I can't, like, help you out sonically or whatnot, and I'm definitely not here to help anybody make connections. I'm not going to, like, open doors for people because that's not what I do. But I can tell you who might sound dope on it, and I thought that was like your intention with that one. You're like, oh, I got a good idea because they don't make hooks. You made a hook for them. That's dope. But before you send that to anybody, check those 3 or 4 spots. There's like a little like flange on the sample or something, and it just needs to be just nudged a little bit, and you'll be ready to go, homie. So, as I roll the fuck up, let's talk about some things. Congratulations to July's Beat Battle winner. And it's hilarious because, shout out to Twin, our esteemed guest judge. And, good, because, that's not what I do anyway. I just make music sound better. Anyway, so, shout out to our Beat Battle winner, and it's hilarious because kind of did everything he could to not win this month, and he still ended up doing it. Listen, I don't tell anybody who judges these anything about who's won, who made the beats, nothing. I don't label them. If you've labeled them, I actually label it just as a number, so it's easy for the whoever is the guest judge to pick who the winner is. I have literally no influence whatsoever when there's a guest judge. So, shout out to Billy Lines, you motherfucking animal. So, champion once again, homie. It's funny because his original beat for July, as soon as he played it for me by accident, because he played it a week too early, I was just like, nope, just give that one to me. That one's not in the battle anymore. Just give it to me now. And then he went and threw together another beat and ended up winning anyway. So, an interesting development during Mobb Deep Monday, if you guys didn't get to check it out. I told you I've been up to something. So, our Beat Boutique Beat Battle winners are going to be working with Twin. And maybe more. But Twin said, yo, let's do a project with all the winners. I didn't even have to ask him. I just told him what I was doing with the beat battle, and he was just like, word, we should do a project with all the winners. So, Billy Lines, I thought Zoltan had that one too, but then you have to look at who the judge was. And, Twin was going to pick a beat that he's going to want to use because we're now going to make a project with Twin. And I told you, the winners of the beat battle, we're going to be making music with some people. Not just me. So, our winners so far have been Zoltan, Andrew, and Billy Lines. In our 7 months. Billy Lines has got 5 victories, I think. Either 4 or 5. So, yes, Twin is in. It made me smile. It was fun because, like I said, it was his idea. I mean, I wanted him to possibly give me a verse for a project anyway, and he said, "Nah, let's do a whole project with the winners." So, yeah, man, the 333 and Twin are going to be getting grimy. So, I also have August loop pack ready to go. I literally put the last 2 loops in it about 4 minutes before I went live. So, it's ready. Anybody who wants to participate in August Beat Battle, hit me up, IG, Gmail, one of those ways. We'll make it happen. Also, now you know, this month in particular, I never tell you guys to do this because I just want to hear what it is that you make. But I'm going to change this month. This month, we are making beats for Twin. So, you know how it works. Grab the sample pack. Just use one sample in there. I don't give a fuck. Just one. That's all it takes. You can submit as many as you want. And know that you're aiming for Twin. With that in mind. That way, like Zoltan, you don't send me an R&B record this month. Because you kind of hamstrung yourself. I mean, I didn't know Twin was going to judge the battle until I called him and was talking about it. And he was just like, yeah, I want in. So, shout out to Twin. Shout out to Billy Lines. Billy Lines, I'm already like 90% done mixing that one anyway, homie. So, yeah, we will continue on. And Billy, I will send you this month's loot pack. And I will be sending out this week, finally able to do it. I know, I apologize. It's taking too goddamn long to do this. But I can finally send out all of these packs. So Zoltan, Andrew, I will be sending you shit. Billy Lines, I'll be sending you something, homie. I will be sending you something in the mail, my Jeezy. Congratulations, dude. So, yo, Billy Lines is like, yeah, this month, I don't know, man. Yeah, he just, but yeah, now make beats with Twin in mind. So, Billy Lines, homie, you gotta be like my fifth favorite producer right now. I mean, it's fun because we work together. And, like, we make shit together, but, like, you know, you're like the artist, and I'm like I'm the engineer. This is what I do. I take an artist and they're an instrument for me, and then I get music out of them. That's what I do. So, yeah, Billy Lines, you gotta be like, I mean, there's Alchemist as always, and Have, and Beat Butcher, and Derringer. And there's you, dude. Yeah, you gotta be like my fifth favorite producer right now. I don't say that lightly. I actually mean that, dude. So, Billy Lines, you are victorious once again. What song you want to do tonight? What behind the beat song do you want to do? It's been a couple of weeks since we've done this. I plead the fifth. There are so many amendments in the Constitution. I plead the fifth. There are so many producers in the world. Billy Lines is my fifth. Yo, you are hilarious, dude. No, I'm being serious. We have 8 left. We're halfway through. Yo, so we got Broken Rappers, motherfucking USA, Can't Do Snakes Yet, Good Fight, PhD, There's No Point. It was mixed in a studio on a console, so I can't really show you how it was done. Broken Rapper, No Contest, and Bless You. Did we do Bless You yet? I don't think we did. Yeah, we did. We did Bless You. We did that 2 weeks ago. That's the last one we did. Gotta tag that. So yeah, we're halfway through. Not Snakes is the one that I gotta convert still. Alright, we'll do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Oh, let me see this one. Yeah, you're right, Easy. I totally did bless you already. You guys gotta remember, I be high, man. You gotta. You gotta bear with me sometimes, people. Alright, so we're gonna do Broken Apple. Oh, you wanna do Broken Rappers? I was halfway right. Alright, I got you, homie. Bang, ding, bang, ding, ding, ding. I just always love Broken Apple because the story behind the song is fucking hilarious. It is like 100% true. I promise you, it is 1,000,000% true. He really frisbeed that Apple Air. He aired that shit into the drywall twice. And the second time it did stick and go like a doorstop. It's funny now. It wasn't funny when it happened. That's for fucking sure. I think we did this one already. They say that it was last open on 7/8/21 at 10:38 p.m., which makes sense, and closed at 7/8/21 at 11:53 p.m., which makes sense. Did we do this one already? Joe Black, see? I thought we did this one because this was a big one. I was terrible at this one. I had a headache. I remember this one. We did Broken Rappers. We were more than halfway through. I do remember that one. I sucked during that one. No, we did Broken Rappers already. It was on July 8th. I had a headache. I was not very entertaining. Yeah. We did that one. Anyway, we're going back to Broken Apple because we haven't done one of these. We did on Tyranny, but that one was different because we added live drums over top of it. Well, at least drum samples. This one is completely different. So, whole different lesson on this one. Because this one is literally just a loop, as you can now see. You see here, it's just a loop, man. There's nothing. This was it. This is it. So it wasn't even like it was a 2-track and I just had to deal with the 2-track. This is just a loop. Yeah, so you could see all I really had to do as far as structurally is just kind of cut. You could see them. Here's a cut to make hooks out of it. It was just this basic loop, right? But still had to make it sound dope. Now I would have a lot more bussing, like way more. But there wasn't a whole lot to do on this record. And I kind of wanted to keep it very simple anyway, given the nature of the loop. And it is just a loop. And this was kind of before everyone was really just doing loop rapping where there's not really drums added over top. Now it's very commonplace. But it was just a matter of like really, it's like kneading dough. You have a 2-track and you got to do whatever it takes to make it sound dope. But not depart too far away from its original state. So you have to find a happy medium, especially since this is one of the songs that is a bonus song. It's the end of the bonus tracks, right? So it needs to stand out on its own because it is a bonus song, but it still needed to feel like it was part of the entire whole. So you have to kind of like bridge the gap and find a happy medium between the two. I have to tell the story because it's too hilarious not to. So this song literally happened the way P says in the song. This is like, it actually happened this way. So I'm in the live room of Infamous Studios watching TV and on my laptop. And P is downstairs in the basement underneath the studio. There was like an apartment and like a whole nother other thing where I have kept all his records and shit. And P was down there and he was on, this is before Zoom calls, he was on a Skype call with somebody who will remain nameless. And they said something that pissed him off. And P took that MacBook Air, you know, the real thin one, and fucking frisbeed that shit into the wall. And shout out to Mac for those first MacBook Airs because the first throw didn't do anything to it. And it just pissed him off even more. So he threw it even harder. And it fucking stuck in the drywall, like literally. And he comes up in the studio and he's just like, he has this look at his face. I'm like, what happened? He's like, I need your laptop. I'm like, what happened? And he opens his laptop and it was like clearly not working properly. And I was like, what did you do? Like, what did you do so I know if I can actually fix this or not? And he told me what happened and I was like, all right, my laptop is the last one that we have functioning right now. So let's not throw that shit against the wall, please. Even though he gave me that laptop. So I always had this thing with P where if something would happen, I'd always tell him just put it in a song. Like just make some music with it. So right before he went back down stairs, I looked at him, I was like, yo, put it in a song. And he literally came up like an hour later or something and had this song. And we recorded it. I was laughing the whole time because I was just like, yo, this is fucking hysterical because you literally put it into a song. So the whole point about he just lost everything he just did, as he was, before the Skype call occurred, he was writing a feature that someone had paid him for. And he was almost done with that verse, and when he threw the laptop up against the fucking wall, he lost the verse. So he had to do a whole nother verse for this person, and it really fucking pissed him off. Because now he's like, ah, damn, now I gotta come up with another one. I don't remember that one. It's like, he's like, they just got a verse for free. Fuck. So he was fucking pissed. And then he came up and made this song, which, I mean, this is what I do. Like I said, at least this is what I try to accomplish. is there's something going on. We're gonna make a song about it, man. That's just light or art imitating life. So, not a whole lot to do on this. This is a 2-track. But look at the extreme EQ curve on this. There was a lot done in order to try to make some bass come out of this loop. So, I mean, this is extreme. Like, this is so much farther than I would ever do anything. But it doesn't matter. It's whatever's necessary. There's a huge difference with just EQing. Just taking the time to sweep and find the things that need accentuated and how to get them boosted without affecting other things around them. And then also, when you're dealing with a 2-track, it's more important about the cuts. So the solution on this one isn't necessarily to push everything up so far. The bass is the only thing I really pushed. Everything else I cut out. So it's more about cutting out that main like flute airy sound and taming it a little bit and bringing it down to the level of the percussion and whatnot. It's funny because I had the compressor on and I didn't even activate it. I didn't even use it. So it's basically just the EQ. So you could see that it was about this huge scoop right here. Now, typically this is around 1,000 hertz is where the body and the snap of the snare is going to be. And we're kind of after that. But there's not really a snare on this one. So we're able to scoop out that section dramatically without affecting the actual tempo keeping percussion of this because it's just a conga hit. It's like a rim shot. So that on the frequency spectrum is going to be a little bit past the 1,000 hertz mark because it's just the very top end, the sizzling part of the snare or the tempo keeper. So that was actually fortunate that there was no snare in there because it allowed me to cut this section out and basically tame the entire 2-track. And then I only had to boost a little bit right here. You can see it for the rim shot. Added some backspace. Not a whole lot. You can see 0.1 brought up on the original and then 0.7 on the max. So there wasn't a whole lot added. But again, I really wanted to make it sound like there was a bass player in this and not just a bass buried inside of the loop. Now, it's funny because I don't worry about this clipping at all. This is a cut up loop and a dusty sample, so there's a lot of cracks and pops and snaps and whatnot. So any distortion that might come through on this bass that I'm pushing, it didn't bother me at all. I didn't worry about it. But there's so much room behind that airy section, and since there is no kick and no snare, this one's wide open. It really allowed me to take the bass and make it something. So let's go back to no bass. You could hear that bass. You could hear it. But you need to feel it. It's all in the journey to try to make this not sound just like a loop that you found. 1. 2. So now you have to think of signal path and chains. So I've already EQ'd this once with the alloy, and now I've added a max bass, and now instead of going back to the alloy and fucking with that EQ some more, I added one more onto the chain, and now I'm going to take what is the output of the max bass and EQ that, instead of going backwards and then EQing before the max bass. So you have to think about that, and that's why one of the reasons why everyone always asks me, why do I compress before I EQ on vocals? Well, I do a lot of sacred math and whatnot, and I need the math to be exact. I don't want that math to be compressed, so I do it in reverse. So now, it doesn't matter. You could use 30 EQs if you want. It doesn't fucking matter. Just make it sound dope. But anyway, I used the second one on this one. Another big scoop there on this one. So it's really trying, not only am I trying to boost the bass a lot, I'm trying to get the main part of this loop brought down a bit so there's room for P to rap on. See, you can tell now I didn't do such a dramatic change that it altered the loop, the context of it, the originality of it, the dynamics of it, any of that at all. But it's been completely tamed now, especially with this last edition. It's such a huge difference because all this essentially setup does is move that wind instrument a little bit back behind the percussion. Huge difference. Before, so thin. Alright, so, reverb time. That reverb was specifically just to catch the bongos, congas, and that top end percussion. You can hear it as soon as it's activated, the tail behind it. So, I typically use the Oxford reverb on every song that I mix. I learned from my mentor, LB. He did 2 Beyonce albums, a couple of Roots albums, a couple of Wu-Tang albums. Does a lot of jazz music. He showed me a long time ago. He's just like, yo, pennies, I use the same fucking reverb on every session I do. No one's ever going to know unless you need to create a special one to create an atmosphere for a song. So I typically always use this one. Now in the shape, I kind of go thinner, but this one, so much room, I went a lot wider than I typically would. But I always use this Oxford reverb. The only other one that I would use if I still had it is Altiverb, but I don't have it anymore. And I don't need it, whatever, I like this one. So, the only busting I did on this one is I bust out to the tape delay. Now, I like this Kramer tape delay. So, you know, just master some things. It's not about having 8 different tape delays. Who fucking cares? Just learn how to use one of them. I like this one from the beginning, so I always use this one. But, just to add a little bit more punch in that vintage thickness and whatnot, the tape delay seemed absolutely necessary for this 2-track. So, I approached this one intentionally with the SSLs because I wanted an SSL sound as much as I could emulate on this track. So, as kind of stiff and rigid as I am with the plugins and things that I use, because I use the same ones for everything, always. Every once in a while, you have to step outside of the box in order to encapsulate and capture the feel of the track properly. And this one, I had to go completely different because I wanted it to feel more vintage. And this is a funny word to use for this. Elegant. So, when we were getting the album mastered, by the time we had made it to these tracks in the list, P had already left. So he was there for like the first hour or two, and it was a 4-hour session. And then he looked at me, he's just like, yo, you got this? I was just like, yeah, I got this, homie, don't worry about it. So, you know, shout out to P for trusting me in my ears. He's like, nah, you got this, you're good. So he left, so it was just me and Tony. And when we got to this one, it's a P record. It's Prodigy, man. Mobb Deep. Like, this word is not something you're going to use for them. So he looked at me. He said, "This mix is very elegant," and I was like, very humbled. You know, Tony's been around mastering high level, award winning platinum rap records since Shaq was rapping. We're talking like the early 90s. This guy's been around forever. So to say the word elegant had me dying. I was high as shit. He was high. But I was like, dude, this is a Prodigy record. Like, it's P. Bandana P. Elegant is the last word that I would ever thought I would have heard attached to something. But that also let me know that I think I kind of achieved the goal that I had set out for. I know I can explain how I did this in like under an hour, but I can promise you that just fucking with those 3 plugins and a couple buses on that 2-track, probably spent 10 hours, honestly, just fucking with it until I could get it to sound like its own thing completely. It doesn't sound like a sample at all anymore. It sounds like somebody actually made this instead of just looping somebody else's song. So, enough of that nonsense. The whole point of that was I used a lot of SSLs on this mix, which I typically didn't do on this album.
Money is worthless, real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen. Money is worthless, real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen.
So, if you haven't heard me say it before, but explain it again. Compression should always be used lightly. You shouldn't squash things in order to bring some things up and bring some things down completely in order to solve your dynamic issues within a given performance. You need to 111, what up, homie? At least I do, and this is how I learned. Use a combination. This volume automation is such a big deal to me. I do it even mixing beats. Instead of relying 100% on EQ and compression to control things. So if something's a little bit too loud, don't compress it a little bit more. Go in and just, write the automation there, write the volume down, control it yourself by hand. That way you don't have to rely so much on compression, because once you compress it too much, you lose all the depth and the life in your dynamics that you've created. So I'm more apt to write automation, as you can see, than I am to just over compress.
Money is worthless, real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing.
Now what I will do though is I will compress it before I write the automation.
Money is worthless, real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen.
And also you can see, instead of me relying so much on a de-esser to do all the heavy lifting in the S's and the sibilants, I will go and manually scoop that out and assist that de-esser so it doesn't have to work so hard. So
Real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you...
So you can see it, as always, the presence that I always talk about with the snares and the tempo keepers is always around 1,000 hertz somewhere between a 900 and 1,000. This one was at 906. So instead of going into that 2-track and pushing to try to get those tempo keepers up a little bit more once the vocals are on there so they don't get buried, go in somewhere between 9 and 1,200 typically, and just scoop that out on the vocals, and it's going to allow that snare to snap over top of that vocals, because now that part of the frequency spectrum are no longer fighting each other. You've now created a puzzle piece and a marriage between the two. So instead of it's like magnets. Instead of them being opposite and banging on each other, you just flip one of them around and now they just fit.
Real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen.
Subtleties on everything else. So subtle on the EQ on his vocals. All the work in EQing was done to get that 2-track to a place where P's vocals would fit somewhere in between those. So once that big giant pocket was created, just let them breathe. That's why you see even in the automation, there's not too much. It's not too. I don't want to use the word dynamic again, but the automation, it's not too huge of a change. Everything was so subtle. I wanted to allow the vocals to really sound like it was like a voice in your head almost, or something, so where you could hear every part of the delivery, I guess, instead of like being so robotic like I always am and going in on every phrase and every syllable and making sure they all hit exactly where they're supposed to. I allowed this one to breathe a lot more because of what it was. This was just an expression of anger and about a moment in time, and I wanted it to be just that. Does that even make fucking sense?
Real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen.
So you can hear it just in the bypassing of the exciter, and you can see on the exciter itself, I used this alloy oral exciter in addition to the ones that I always use, and I really pushed it to the tape saturation because once again, that's the whole point of this journey, is to have that old tape staticky dynamic feel. So really pushed it to the tape aspect, but you can hear the difference whenever I activate it. Basically all it does to me is P's vocals and that tempo keeper, they're kind of even, and that tempo keeper is so high pitched that you don't have to worry about it being in the center of P's vocals. So this exciter allowed me to kind of push those vocals just out in front of that tempo keeper, because you're going to be able to hear the tempo keeper anyway. P's vocals are so deep and baritone, and this is a rim shot. It's way up in the frequency spectrum.
Real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen.
Now I didn't even add the reverb, which is hilarious.
Real power is people. Real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen.
So if you've built a pocket for the vocals this big, to where they're literally just they're going to sit here and everything's going to be around it. For the reverb on the vocals, all you're basically going to want to do is kind of build a buffer between them and that pocket. You don't want to push it too far and have them, the reverb on the vocals, fighting with all this work that you did to try to get this 2-track to work, right? So in this aspect, the reverb is kind of being used like a harmonic engine or a delay combination of the two, and just adding a pillow, like a buffer. Like you have the vocals here and everything else is here. So instead of trying to get this to wrap around the vocals more, we have this space, and that's where we're going to add, that's where all of this comes into play. The busing, the processing, delays, harmonic engines, things like that. That's all going to fill that gap.
Real power is people, real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen.
I guess the best way to explain that is you're going to want the tail on your reverb to cut off once the 2-track is inactivated behind whatever the end of the vocals is. So once P's done saying whatever phrase or bar it is, the tail of that reverb should cut off before the 2-track is at its fullest, so that they don't fight each other.
Real power is people, real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life.
So you hear every bar is down for the cause, and then that 2-track, the chords that it hit, that gap in time right there basically dictated the tail of the reverb. I didn't even have to think about it. There was a gap already there for something to be filled in.
Real power is people, real strength is in the street where everybody's equal. I'd rather have 100 down strong supporters of the movement, down for the cause, cause life is amazing, your life is dull. If you think a big bank make you successful, just look at all the colors, the ecosystem, the plants and the wildlife is built with intelligence. Listen. We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids, a Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate.
See, look, I added a secondary EQ on P's vocals also. It doesn't matter what the answer is, just answer the problem. That's it.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids, a Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct from Satan. You see the inmates in prison, just the ones who got caught. Just imagine all the other shit really going on. I just shake my head, I need THC. My computer just crashed and deleted everything I just did.
So this secondary EQ was just to brighten it up just a little bit and not have to bring the reverb down, because I liked the reverb where it was at. So now, harmonic engine that I always use.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids, a Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some.
So you're looking at 0.32 in the mix factor, so this is literally almost nothing. But I probably played with this knob for hours until I got it exactly where I wanted it to be. Now, you have to remember in Pro Tools, if you click a knob once, then you can use your direction keys to go 0.1 at a time. So you can really fine-tune things. So I always like plugins, because you can actually go 0.1 at a time and not try to turn a knob 0.1 at a time. That's impossible.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct from Satan. You see the inmates in prison, just the ones who got caught. Just imagine all the other shit really going on.
So, yeah, clearly this, I gotta unmute this shit. But, as always, like clockwork, this Trash 2 has a harmonics engine on the vocals bus. It never fails. I will always use this. I love this plugin for two reasons. The delicate harmonics setting is what I always use. And then the filters on this one are incredible. So you can see how much filtering I did just on P's vocals to try to get them to really, really fit where I wanted them to inside of this pocket. Because once I built this pocket, it was just like, I don't want to fuck with the pocket anymore. It's set, so now we need to fill that pocket. It wasn't about like setting the vocals and then building everything around it. It was actually done the opposite way on this one.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core.
See, it's just a little bit harsh.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct from Satan. You see the inmates in prison, just the ones who got caught. Just imagine all the other shit really going on.
You can see on both filters where the frequency spectrum it's really at. So now I'm going into P's vocals, and instead of here where I would normally scoop them, remember in the 2-track I scooped here really big. Right before that on this one, because this Isotope Trash 2 filter, though this looks like a very dramatic scoop, it doesn't really affect it that much, so you can really like fine tune things. So right before the scoop on the 2-track, I took out a bunch of P's vocals also. And then the secondary filter after that, the opposite end of that, I also went and took things out. So this, to me, you can feel it. It goes from, it takes it almost to completion, because now it really feels like a conversation, which was what P kind of wanted it to be like.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct from Satan. You see the inmates in prison, just the ones who got caught. Just imagine all the other shit really going on. I just shake my head. I need THC. My computer just crashed and deleted everything I just did.
So look, I added this SSL EQ on the vocal bus, but I did not EQ any of it. I only added this just for this SSL filter, because this filter for the bottom end is fucking incredible. Again, so much filtering, not necessarily EQing, but filtering, which is kind of like EQing but halfway and like weaving between. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct.
So this was used so that I could scoop out the frequency in P's vocals at the bottom end where the bass notes were really jumping at. It was literally the only purpose for this, but it really worked.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct from Satan.
Separates the bass a little bit, so 9-10 bus. This is a tape delay.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact.
Alright, so the last thing that I added is the other harmonic engine that I always use, and this is a Maserati harmonic engine. I love this thing because it allows you to dictate the size of the harmonics and also the spread on how far the harmonics are at each stage. It's really fucking dope.
We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct from Satan. You see the inmates in prison, just the ones who got caught. Just imagine all the other shit really going on. I just shake my head. I need THC. My computer just crashed and deleted everything I just did. We the bricks at the bottom of the government's pyramids. A Ponzi scheme, we being conned, my friend. That's so adorable, you so naive. It's just a metaphor, you really looking for some puppet strings. Space cadets can't assimilate fact from theory. Common core education direct from Satan. You see the inmates in prison, just the ones who got caught. Just imagine all the other shit really going on. I just shake my head. I need THC. My computer just crashed and deleted everything I just did. Yo, roll up, man.
That's exactly what he said. Yo, roll up, man. Fucking love it. So for the hooks, it's literally the same process. It always is, except you're just trying to find a balance between... So on the doubles on this one, I put them up a little bit more than I normally would, just to kind of have it feel like P's conscience was speaking over top of himself. But the hooks is literally the exact same process. It always is with me anyway. Except the sacred frequencies that I activate are going to be different ones. It's about the only difference.
Just look at yourself. You can't fathom your own operating system. A MacBook. I take a real book any day and your automation. Give me a human being. I mean, fuck. Just look at ourselves. We the masters of the earth, and nature is real wealth in abundance. Give thanks to all. The fact that you're breathing, you should be in awe. Just look at yourself. You can't fathom your own operating system. Fuck a MacBook.
So you can hear that the vocal presence on the lead on the hook is going to be lower than the actual lead on the verses because there's always a double. So my advice to rappers is just at least always double your hooks. You don't have to double the vocals. Nobody actually does it anymore. But you have to make the hooks different than the verses somehow. You have to. The listener is stupid. They can't tell the difference.
Just look at yourself. You can't fathom your own operating system. Fuck a MacBook. I take a real book any day and fuck your automation. Give me a human being. I mean, fuck. Just look at ourselves. We the masters of the earth, and nature is real wealth in abundance. Give thanks to all. The fact that you're breathing, you should be in awe. Just look at you.
So that was pretty much it for this one. I know it seems like it was easy. Like I said, we could do this easily in under an hour because it's just a 2-track. But I spent that 10 hours was 3-4 days worth of work of just tweaking the 2-track to try to create a pocket, because this just is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I mean, people would put this out like that, but not me. It sucks because the Ozone 5 that I used on the master bus, I don't have anymore. The license expired, so I can't show you the last step on it, but the whole point of Behind the Mix on this session is so that you understand, even if you only have a 2-track, unless you want to take a journey through Dante's Inferno and try to build a new beat around vocals, better get good with manipulating a 2-track. Doesn't matter what it takes. You could use a lot of bussing, use 57 EQs, 47 filters. It doesn't fucking matter. Compress it, reverse it, it doesn't matter. Just do what is necessary in order for you to create a proper pocket and facilitate the vocals, because after all, that's the fucking point. This wasn't an instrumental album, and if I was to put out an instrumental album, I wouldn't scoop out all those spots for the vocals to sit in. That's not the point. The whole point, and P said it from the beginning, is make sure they understand every single word. That was the only direction, so it doesn't matter. Even if you're just using a sample, and then you're going to use that sample to make a beat with, you should spend the necessary time in order to make that sample and manipulate it so that you can properly actually use it, and not just what it is and chop it up. Because one day you might have some issues clearing samples, and who knows what the fuck you're going to have to do when you have issues clearing samples. I can promise you. It is grueling. That's the best way I can explain it. It's a grueling task, and that's why I don't do it. So it's funny because this track wasn't necessarily part of the landscape for Hegelian at all. This was actually recorded before we were actually working on Hegelian. This was actually done as its own thing. Like I said, it was an expression of anger in a moment of time. It's just such a dope ass song that we had just added in the bonuses. Like we had to. This literally was not part of the album. It was not made to be part of the album. It was just made. But it was one of those incidences where I was just like, nah, man, I'm gonna find a fucking way. We gotta put this shit out somehow. And it kind of just fit as a bonus track. It's like you listen to all of Hegelian, and then it's just like everything gets fucked up. It's kind of what this is. Like the computer shuts off, and you're like, oh shit, you know. And then you get the bless you as the ending, as the message. So this has been dope, man. This one's been pretty easy, but we've been doing this for a while. So shout out to everybody for coming through. Shout out to Billy Lons for winning again. So August Beat Battle Loot Pack is available. I gotta come up with a name for it. I haven't done that yet. It just says Back in the Loop 6 right now. I gotta come up with a name. I don't know, I'll figure it out. But it is available, and you know the drill. We got a couple weeks until the end of August. Now, we know what's at stake in August. We're making beats for Twin in August. So, if you want to pitch some beats to Twin, I have now created a platform for you. So, welcome to the Beat Shop, everybody. Shout out to you for coming through. It's Thursday. I got things to do. I will be in the Matrix for a while. You will not see me again until Saturday night for RIPT TV. Until then, keep fighting the good fight. RIPP 333. Me and Billy Lons are up to something.
He's one of the dopest engineers in the game. The head engineer exclusively for Prodigy of Mobb Deep. 10 Prodigy of Mobb Deep albums. The Hegelian Dialectic. The Book of Revelation.
It's a pleasure, man. That body of work is crazy. I mean,
Joe the engineer. Now we do this shit, nigga.
333, that's a sign from the heavens. Just look up in the heavens, Joey, that next thing sparking. That next thing sparking. That's a sign from the heavens, the heavens, the heavens. 333. Joey, that next thing sparking. That next thing sparking. In the heavens, in the heavens, in the heavens. 333. That's a sign from the heavens. Just look up in the heavens, in the heavens. Where the fucking weed at? Dopest engineers in the game. One of the dopest engineers in the game.